Welcome, everybody, to the No Thumbs Podcast, Episode 6, Beginning of the End. And today, I am joined by Rasky, Petrangelo, whatever he's called now these days. How you doing, Rasky?
Hi, how's it going, Swifty?
It's going well. You had a little bit of an echo there to start the
Oh
show.
my, yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen the whole time before.
Oh, no,
now,
it
but as
fixed
soon as
itself.
it's-
It fixed itself. But,
All right, good.
whatever. It's not bad. We'll live with it. But, the show has been moved today to 7:30 because there was issues about being bumped by ECHL. I just want to be avoided that. I want everybody to see the show if you want to watch it. So that's why we're at 7:30 today, and I don't expect, that many people to tune in right away, but it's going to be podcasted, so you can catch it later too if you're listening to this podcasted. Anyways, let's get to the first thing, first topic here. Assassinated. And if Archon's watching right now, I hope he is. That's a shout out to you. And my team got eliminated, and it's I don't know. It's just tough. It's tough. That's pretty much all I could say. Good series. Well played. We had some issues, but that's no excuse. We had talent, and we threw out our best lines we possibly could. And at the end of the day, we just got beat. And congratulations to the Titan. And it's just, And anyways, let's move on here to my retirement. Titan didn't make me retire. Let me make that clear. But I made a post about retiring from management and everything I learned, so go check it out. Few things I want to say. I saw somebody post, I'm not retiring because of, let me be clear, I'm not retiring because somebody's mean to me or whatever. I don't care, to be honest. I'm retiring because it's just too much work. It's a lot of work. If you want to be good, it's a lot of work. You can just do the bare minimum and be okay, but if you want to have a competitive team, you can go ask any of the managers. You have to scout. You have to be aware of everything that goes on in LG. Everything. And if there's something you can take advantage of, you have to take advantage of. Whether it's a trade, a mute, for instance, just to rattle somebody. Anything, really. If you can take advantage of something, you have to pounce on it, and you have to be aware at all times. And it's just so demanding. It's super demanding. Rasky, you're a former owner and you had success. Can you speak on that?
Yeah, I owned one season in the CHL. Honestly, it's super time consuming.
Exactly.
Out of your life. You have to treat it as a job almost, but more of a fun job rather than something that you dread on doing. If you're at the point where you dread on doing it, then you should probably not be management anymore. But I was having fun still doing it.
Right.
But it takes a lot of time out of your life, and if you really don't have the time right now, you're not going to be a successsul manager.
I'm not going to lie. After we got eliminated, I kind of had a sigh of relief. Like, it's over now. I don't have to worry about it. And, like, everybody knows, like, I was actually running Moncton. Like, I did everything. I got the games together. I did the schedule. I got availabilities. I made trades. I came into, I'm not going to lie, not to, like, they know this, but I came into a team had no assets. The pieces were untradeable, and I had to just keep trying to. This took the most out of me to build a competitive team again. It didn't work out, but it just, I can't go back. I've had two management teams that were kind of hands off, and I was all hands on. And you can ask that question: why don't you just take it with two managers that will do things? And the truth is, I'm kind of like, I kind of know what's best, and I don't mean to like say that to anybody like. Like, I know what we have to do and what we can give up to get things, and I prefer to have complete control of the management controls personally. And I just can't sit back and be a pawn, or like, it's just not in my blood. I have to get involved, and I have to make trades, and I can't just sit on the sidelines and watch somebody else do it. So it's better for me just to be a player again and focus on this. And I have some interesting things to say in this. I know FIFA said he read 0 sentences. That's fine. He's listening to it now. But I talk about what it takes to become a successful manager. And yeah, I'm gonna enjoy retirement. I'm already sipping on beer, and this is actually good for the show as well because like I'm a little bit more loose now. I don't have the management shackles constraining me, and I could talk about anything. I was more of a my philosophy on running a team is you're just respectful to everybody, and I am respectful. I'm going to remain respectful to everybody. It's just I don't like to openly call people out or anything like that. I do it rarely on the show. I'm not saying I didn't do it, but it's not in my nature to do it when I'm management because you got to be respectful to everybody. And but now on the show, I could just say whatever, and I don't have to think about the consequences. Obviously, I'm staying within the COC, but yeah. Any thoughts on this and anything you want to say, Rasky, before we move on to look
I
back?
have to agree with you on the whole control. I mean, if it, I tried doing a 50-50 split with Wizza when I was owning, and it's not how I want to run my team. I was the owner, so I felt like I have all the say. And it's hard when you want to split because you don't have the time, and you want to have all the say because you really can't get. It's one or the other. You can't really have both.
Right. And yeah, so I'm free now. So and check out the post if you haven't already. But let's just stop talking about me and let's move on to a look back at round 3. And we're going to talk about some of the things that went on. And we'll start with the O. And Rasky, are you surprised at anything that occurred in the O?
I'm a little shocked with Barry losing in 5 games. I thought that series was gonna take it.
No,
honestly, I mean, Niagara's good. Don't get me wrong, but I thought Barry was playing strongly as well. But
I'm not trying to throw you under the bus here, Rasky, and this is a little bit more loose Schwifty as you can tell, but no, I disagree. I watched that game 7 against Kingston. They did not look good at all, and they did not deserve to win that game. I'll be honest, Kingston outplayed him probably all of OT, and then they took a few bad penalties and got scored on a rebound. I saw that, and I saw their top line. I was heavily disappointed. And Mac A has been rolling his team, the Ice Dogs, the Crabs, I think they want to be called. But yeah, they've been rolling, dude. And Vahey's team, respect to Vahey and Breck, they build good teams. But this team, it just lost it. I feel in against that Kingston team, they swept Oshawa and then they ran into Kingston. Just light turned off and then it continued to be off, and that's how I feel about that. Maybe you can speak on that.
I mean, I'm not saying that your point of view is just correct, in my opinion too. But just I thought Barry did. I mean, they got first, or they were first place, correct?
Yes,
or
yeah, they
first
won.
Place?
Yeah, they had 100 points, over 100.
Vahey did a good job running it during the regular season. Honestly, I don't know what happened round 2 to have Kingston come back. Kingston definitely played it out of their minds in both first and second round, forcing 2 game 7s, winning in round 1, losing in round 2. And I mean, Niagara is definitely a tough team. They are playing out of their mind right now, and that going into this next round, they're gonna be a tough team to get past.
Right. Yeah, there will be a tough team to get past, but Guelph just beat Sarnia, and Sarnia won the West, and they've been a tough team all along. They beat the Cryptic line in Game 7. They had a 3-1 lead, blew it, but then they remained. They beat them.
Still won.
I was kind of shocked with their Game 7 lineup, Sarnia, a bit. I thought Jay Raska should have played Game 7, but
Sarnia had back-to-back sweeps. That's
right.
in the
So
first 2 rounds.
especially against a tough team in Kitchener, and the Pizza Romo line beat him twice, and Guelph walks in there, plays their game, and they come out alive. So it's going to be an interesting series between Guelph and the Crabs. I think they want to be called. I see them I saw them watching
They
the
like
Kingston
to be called
game.
the Ice Crabs.
Ice Crab. I saw them
Yeah.
in the mixer of. I don't remember exactly who was streaming it, but all they would do is just post picture like crab emojis. So I'm going with the crabs.
I don't know where it comes from either, but I forgot where it came from. But as long as I've known Niagara Ice Dogs, they've been called the Crabs.
And let's just pivot here to the Q. For me, I'll start things off this time. The surprise here was Victoriaville. Victoriaville defeating Sherbrooke. I thought Sherbrooke had the best team in the CHL. And honestly, I still believe they have the best team in the CHL, and they lost. But Victoriaville walked in there, chip on their shoulder, and beat them. And congratulations to them and Rybish. Did a great job. They got lucky with one of the lines I saw. It was an ECU line. And you still can't beat that nasty line. Nasty, Presidente, and Swerve. They were undefeated, and just the other lines couldn't win. So that to me is the shock. What about you, Rasky?
Were they actually undefeated in the playoffs? I thought they lost one in that last third round.
I'm pretty sure Presidente, Nasty, and Swerve were undefeated. I can double check that for you right now, but I just don't think they lost, man. I'm not.
I'm checking currently. No, they went 5-0 in the playoffs.
Yeah, they were balling.
Honestly, I do not think Sherbrooke. I think Sherbrooke got to the third round with some technicalities. Sorry, somebody was just honking past my house for some reason. I was super confused, but I mean, getting Presidente down in the CHL for him to only play in the playoffs and still kind of manipulate the system where he's playing his AHL games all the way till the end is just something like that needs to be definitely moderated better. Otherwise, like, you can't just.
We'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that later and get into it. But just overall, are you shocked at the outcome here?
Honestly, no. Victoriaville's got a stronger team all around than Sherbrooke.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sherbrooke is definitely stacked on their first line and a half.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's no doubt that Victoriaville getting those third line and second line wins just made that team win.
And yeah, some people might see Moncton losing as an upset, but the Titan have a good team, and it was gonna be a battle till the very end, no matter what. And congratulations to Archon and Archon for Mem or Titan for Mem or whatever. They post it all the time. Maybe you want to stop putting that expectation on themselves, but maybe they thrive under it. Who knows? But let's move on to the WHL here, and we got some interesting victories. We got, but I consider both upsets. I don't know about you, but both to me are upsets.
This is the underdog round.
Yeah, dude, the WHL has been nothing but underdogs, nothing. And I'll start things off yet again. The Kelowna series, just to start there. I'm not gonna lie, I know nothing about Kelowna. Like, I still know nothing about Kelowna, and they keep winning. I just don't know. I'm researching them. I'm like, I don't even know who half these people are, and they just keep winning. And that's such an advantage for them. It's like an underrated, under the radar team coming in, and people are like, it's Kelowna, and then just they kick the crap out of other people. I think that's an advantage.
It was from my experience last season, going to the playoffs with Kelowna, taking that team, nobody expected us past the first round. We were supposed to be a first round sweep, and we made it all the way to the third round against Matheson's Vancouver Giants, which, I mean, that was definitely a challenge, and our team was not ready against, like, Soto, CM was on that team still, or Soto. One of the two fucking elite guys were on that team. We got Matheson.
It was CM and Redbush was there too.
Redbush. I mean, there's no way we were going to win that series, in my opinion, and we made it all the way as far as we could.
Yeah.
But we were the underdogs, and nobody knows much about underdogs. You're going into that series as the higher seed, thinking, "Oh, we're gonna sweep these guys." We already know. Look at their standings. Look at their team. It's not that good. And then they come out playoffs just rolling out wins, and that's what they did. Round 1 against Kamloops, 4-1. Round 2 against Prince George, which I'm like, wow, I thought
No,
Prince George had that series.
I don't know. I thought Prince George
4-3.
wasn't well balanced. That's
They
yeah.
still took it to 7 though.
Yeah. But against Portland, I didn't expect that. I thought
And then
Corey
Portland
would have won some
4-1.
games there,
They were
but-
up 3-0, and I mean they almost. They
I heard it was a tipped
swept.
goal or something, and yeah, it was close to being a sweep. But let's pivot here to the most controversial series. You didn't see the first part of that Game 7 there, but Edmonton and Saskatoon and Rip Waxy. I can't believe after having a 3-1 lead, they lost 3 straight, and Broomball out of nowhere decides, yeah, this is my series. Overall, it's just shocking to see what happened in the collapse and the rise of Saskatoon, to be honest. And that Game 7 was very controversial, and let me take it through for you guys. And Waxy can't really blame this, but so what happened was Saskatoon had a 1-0 lead heading into the second, and basically something happened to Adam Josky, I think, is his full gamer tag. Something happened in which he went into the corner and he was just sitting there, and Edmonton called rag and backed out instead of just keep playing the game and recording it. And basically, you could tell something was wrong with him, and he wasn't just like, there's no reason for anybody to do that in the second period, right? And just Edmonton left him alone until he got it back going. And then as you can see, once he got his thing fixed, he passed it up ice and he was good to go. And the game kept going till like the 15-minute mark. Waxy backed out, and it was. I was told that his TV shut off, and he couldn't really see, so he was standing there. And in my opinion, Edmonton missed a golden opportunity to strip him of the puck and take it in, because nobody was back there. They just left him alone. It was him in the corner alone, pretty much. Just the whole team was up too. But Waxy backed out, and then the league ruled against Waxy for ragging, and he was forced to take a penalty, and then the rest of it kind of stunted momentum for Saskatoon, but it didn't matter because Reaper stood on his head. So that's something there to look at.
I feel like the back out helped Edmonton more than it didn't, even though they lost the ruling of ragging, because that whole second half of the game when I joined in, it was just Edmonton pounding away, and it was really all carried by Saskatoon's goaltender and for the win, because they had no offensive momentum after that back out.
Yeah, I know there was no momentum there, and so. Congratulations, Saskatoon. It's going to be an interesting series, and we'll touch on it in a bit, but we're just going to pivot here to the two series. One upset, one not maybe so much, but we got a Florida-Toledo final here, but talk about the games. Brampton couldn't get by that high-octane offense of Florida. And the Mavericks, surprisingly, they couldn't get past Toledo. Which one to you is... the more interesting.
More shocking.
More interesting, I wouldn't say. None of these are shocking. It could have gone either way.
The series, more interesting series is Florida-Brampton. I thought Brampton actually almost took it to 7. They came close and just fell short by a goal in the last minute of the game. I watched that stream. They played great though. Both teams played outstanding, and props to Finney for running Brampton and running a good team this past season.
Right.
And props to Saucerman on making and running a just as good team.
Absolutely.
Even better to make it all the way to the 4th round.
You can be good, but not everybody's going to win. I learned that. But, to me, the more shocking series, I'm pretty sure Toledo had to forfeit against the Mavericks because somebody was playing a banana league. NPG gaming.
MPNG, the controversy of MPNG that bitches about all the time.
They still won.
They did. They still won.
I can't believe the Mavericks lost that after having a 2-0 lead. They just lost 4 straight, and You'd
Big
think
choke from the Mavs.
you'd think they can close it out after getting it 2-0, but nope. Toledo
You needed
strong-willed.
to,
Everybody showed up, everybody played, and they just rolled past them. And congratulations to the Walleye and How to FIFA. I think he's listening. Congratulations, FIFA, for advancing to the ECHL final. Go ahead, Rasky. I feel like you have something to say.
that series, honestly, I I had Kansas City winning it all the way. Like, I mean, they had a way better team up front. They just needed those, like, the second line to get at least a win and the third line to get at least a win. But
Yep.
Toledo's had more depth there, and they were able to pull out the upset.
Right.
As I mean, they were still both the first and second seed, like in like the Florida game, but Toledo was not as good of a second seed as Brampton is to Florida.
Right. And overall, everything played out. Some played out according to plan, others didn't. But it was a good round 3, and we'll look forward to the Cup finals. There's a Cup finals, so there's like 4 cups you're playing for right now. And we'll start things off with the Q, as I always do. And it's Victoriaville taking on Titan. Titan have home ice, but that doesn't matter to Victoriaville. They've been playing without it for the last couple of rounds, sort of like a Titan, sort of like a certain Moncton team that pulled off a miracle a season ago. And I look at this series. I'm not gonna lie. I look at this series, and I looked at both rosters. I know both rosters well from being in the queue. I cross off the goaltending. I think they're equal. I cross off the defense. I think they're equal. I think it's going to come down to offense. I think this series will come down to offense. On paper, originally, when I looked at it, I thought Titan had a better offense, so circle them. But when I played them, it was kind of a very vanilla offense. I'm not going to lie. The one line I will say is Archon's line, and it's going to be very tough to beat them, no matter who you throw out. Shout out Archon. But the other 2 lines, I played their third line. They basically generated very little against me and Grizz. Think about that for a second. And then the same with their first line. Their second line, sorry. That's the Steelers line. They got a goal, but it was a point shot, and they beat us 1-0. We couldn't generate any offense on our end because their defense, as I said, is very strong, and their goaltending. Hawkspan is a beast. So I think it's going to come down to offense here, and after playing, I don't know. I haven't really seen much of Victoriaville, to be honest, too. I know of Victoriaville. I haven't seen much of them because we only get to play them twice a season. I played them once in warm-ups. They had a very good offense, but it was their first line. I haven't seen their other 2 lines. But overall, what do you think here, Rasky? What do you think of the 2 offenses? And do you think the defenses and goaltending cancel out?
I believe actually Victoriaville has of an upper hand when it comes to goaltending, but it's very little. It's not going to be super significant. That
I don't think it's significant at all.
Games. I think Victoriaville needs to win this though in 6 if they have a chance. If this goes to 7, I believe Titans have.
If it goes to 7, Archon's listening. If it goes to 7,
Archon's smacking.
Archon's winning.
Cheeks
well,
7.
We'll see. Maybe Archon's gonna get upset in the first 6. I don't think so. We played his line. I will say we had him on one game. It was Ryan's line that played him. They had more possession, and they couldn't get the job done. But, if they come in sleeping against Victoriaville, maybe this, like they did against us that one game. They still won it, don't get me wrong, but if they go in sleeping, then maybe Victoriaville can get them. But other than that, I just think that line's too talented to lose. So that's 3 wins right there. So you're correct. 6 games. And you know what? Victoriaville has experience dealing with these kind of lines, right? Last series, they had the Presidente, Swerve, and Nasty line to deal with there. And
they were able to close out in 6 without having to go to
they didn't
to face that line again and maybe lose in 7.
They didn't
I mean, that line was undefeated, and who knows what would have happened if that game went to 7, but Victoriaville needs to close this out in 6 for them to win.
Right. I think I have the same belief, and that with that, I think we previewed him pretty well. So in my opinion, it's Shield versus Shield. And who do you think's going to win the Battle of the Shields there, Rasky?
I'm gonna go with Victoriaville in 6. I think they have more rounded offense than the Titans when it comes down to like third line and second line. They have the upper hand with the depth lines. It all depends on if those depth lines win.
Yeah. I was bouncing back and forth on this, and I was talking to you earlier about my pick, and I'm still bouncing in my head after talking about it.
Me too. It's very hard, but
this is the hardest one to predict, in my opinion, coming up here.
This will be the best series.
Honestly, they're all going to be hard to predict, but this one's the toughest, in my opinion. Just bouncing back and forth. I'm thinking about it, and yeah, I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna pivot here and go Titan in 7. I think they'll get a win. That Steeler line, they play well defensively. They have to hope that they continue to clamp. That's important, but at the same time, they're going to have to pray to the Yay gods like they did against us to get some goals. But
I can't wait for this series. So this will be the hardest fought series out of all the 4 matchups.
Yeah, I'm done. You know what? I thought about picking Victoriaville again, but I'm done underestimating the Titan. I'm done. I picked them to lose to Halifax. I picked them. I picked Grizz in 4. Let me make that clear. And I said not Moncton or Schwifty, Grizz, and they beat Grizz in 6. So, and now I'm gonna pick against them again. I don't think so. It's Titan in 7. We'll see what happens. But with that, we will move on to the next series, the OHL, and we got. This is gonna be another hell of a matchup. We got a lot of matchups coming out in here. The Guelph Storm taking on the Niagara Ice Dogs. 2 incredibly well-run teams, 2 incredible owners. I played against Guelph a few seasons ago. Nothing really changed with their team. Complete clamps. They had a tough path so far. Erie and Sarnia. So they have had a tough path. But if you look at the other side, you got the Ice Dogs having a tough path as well, going through Barrie. And I can't think. They beat Sudbury, so they had a tough path too. How do you see this one playing out, Rasky? What do you think they need to do to beat each other?
In order for Guelph Guelph to win, I think it all comes down to their team defense. They need to be able to shut down Niagara, the Crabs.
The Crabs. Why?
In all, I don't know.
Why?
I really don't.
Why?
Know.
Maybe Mac or Shaq. I know they watch the show. Maybe you can just send me a message. I don't know if you're gonna watch a podcast or not, but send me a message and then next show I'll explain it.
But if it comes down to all around team defense, Guelph has done a great job in the past series shutting down scoring, and they run a very tight defensive ship over there, and
right.
I feel like they could steal games for sure. Like 1-0 games, 2-1 games, playing all around good team defense.
Absolutely. Yeah, to me, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I think it's another battle of shield versus shield. We got the defensive teams. Maybe there's a theme. So if you're a potential owner listening, maybe you can take this as a blueprint going forward. Defense wins. But yeah, this is 4 teams. So far, we talked about 4 shields. Now we got another shield versus shield, and I'll start with my prediction. It's tough for me. I like both guys, and Nutty's been around for a long time. I haven't had a conversation with him, and I don't really see much of him on the website, to be honest. But he's been around forever, and he's built a team, and everybody showed up. When he first started owning, his teams were notoriously bad, and now everybody's afraid of him. Man, it's just tough to pick. I'm going to go Guelph in 7. I think that's the way to go. What about you, Rasky?
See, like it's hard for me because Niagara has the offensive firepower to go ahead and outscore Guelph in games and definitely be able to pull out this one. But I'm gonna have to go Guelph in 7.
Right. I agree with you with the Niagara firepower, but then again, Guelph shut down the Cryptics. and I think they're
Oh,
better than any forward line in the C. But that's just my opinion. Playing them in the past, they're just unbelievable players, right? So if Guelph can clamp them, then what's stopping Guelph from clamping Niagara? And you look at the season series, I don't think it's going to play much of a role, but we'll see how it plays out. And yeah, any final thoughts here, Rasky?
it's going to be a shield versus shield matchup, like you said, and it's just going to have to come down to team defense, in my opinion. That's my bold prediction. Guelph in 7, based off of their entire team's defensive capabilities against high firepower offenses.
Right. And with that, we'll move on to the WHL. This is going to be another Schwift show. Let's take a look at the series. We got Saskatoon Blades taking on the Kelowna Rockets. And I will say, two teams nobody expected to be here, so congratulations to both. I saw Saskatoon play. I was very impressed with their defense and the way they played and the way they handled themselves in a tough Game 7 situation and their resilience. And then I look at the Rockets team that's just been rolling over everybody they plays. And this is going to be a tough one to predict because, like I said, I still don't know much about the Kelowna Rockets. I don't. I have to watch some of their games. You know what? I'm going to make it a mission. If they have streams, I will stream their game, and I will call it this week. But what do you think here, Rasky? Who do you think has the upper hand in this series?
It's hard because I don't know too much about Kelowna. Like they just been crapping on people left and right, and it's like, I mean, I just haven't had it. I watched the end of their game 5 against Portland, and that was it. Like I did not watch. I have not watched any Kelowna throughout the entire playoffs, and they've just been winning. But Saskatoon has been they played very well against Edmonton and that good team to beat them in 7.
Right.
That says a lot for Saskatoon. It's just, I feel like Saskatoon might have the upper hand here with
now they get the
more
line match
depth than
too.
Kelowna.
They haven't been line matching the last 2 series, and now they get the line match.
Yeah, so I mean, these stats here that show up on the screen aren't really that good to look at.
They don't matter. They don't matter.
Yeah, they literally don't matter. I think it'll come down to Saskatoon. If Reaper plays out of his mind like he did
solid
last season,
yep.
Kelowna's not going to be able to win. I mean, Corey had a very bad last series for Portland.
Like I said, I didn't really see much, so I can't really make an assessment on Kelowna's play or the way Corey played.
In that game 5, Corey didn't play shit. The game beat Corey. It wasn't Kelowna. It was EA beat Corey because Corey was playing very well in that game 5, and the team played good defensively. But what really gave Kelowna the series win was the tip-in goal that just he's there in position and it tipped over like the tiniest little hole and it went in, and that's how Kelowna won it. So I'm gonna have to go with my prediction, my bold prediction.
I was just gonna ask you. Go ahead.
Saskabroom in 5.
Wow. And that's an interesting pick, but I'm gonna counter that. And you know what? I'm tired of underrating Kelowna. I'm going to go Kelowna in 6 for no reason whatsoever, except they keep proving me wrong. And like I said, I'm going to make it a mission to watch your games. I may even call it, but I have to talk to management about that if you have a stream or something. If you want me to. I don't have to, but maybe Broomball wants me to call his game, so maybe I'll do it anyways. But yeah, I'm going to make it a mission to watch. And we're going to go Kelowna in 6 for no apparent reason. I saw Saskatoon play. Yeah, they won 1-0. I think the offense. I like the line they played, but I don't know much about the team.
The Gungrave Drax duo I don't know who the other winger is. Gungrave and Drax they have that chemistry that goes way back. They played for Kelowna 3 seasons ago,
Right.
and from just having that chemistry factor with all your or with most of your lines, it's a huge, like, you could even say they're not their top line in Saskatoon, but they still outplayed uh
Right. Yes.
Edmonton's top line
Street
with
Smurf.
Street
Yeah.
Smurf.
And sorry, I just got word in.
Slicks, don't jinx us.
Sorry, I was choking for some reason. Oh shit! Right
Like
on the
you did
broadcast,
against
of course.
The Titans?
Yeah, thank you. Hey, whoa! I went 1-1. I went
I'm
1-1.
just
Let me just
kidding.
take a sip of my beer here, folks. And I just got word in the shout box from the entire Kelowna team. I think I saw Healy, Slick. They said, "Count us out. Don't jinx us." Too bad,
don't-
buds. Too bad.
They've
Kelowna
been
and
jinxed.
6. Kelowna
They've
and
been
6.
jinxed.
Anyways, let's move on here. Gonna be an interesting series, but let's move on to our final series. We got the ECHL. And we got the Toledo Walleye taking on the tough team, the Florida Everblades. Gonna be a hell of a series. And this one, in my opinion, is sword versus sword. This one is sword versus sword. I think all the other series are shield versus shield. But this one, sword versus sword, I think their strong suits are their offense. Their goaltending, both strong. They're strong on both sides there with FIFA and Birdnells. Going to be an interesting series. What do you think of? Let me pose this question to you, Rasky, because you're familiar with most of the Toledo guys. What do you think Toledo needs to do to beat Florida?
Line match. They need to line match correctly. If they can line match correctly, the series is all them. And they can do it before they hit game 7. But that's if Wizza can help he line match against Florida and Saucerman's team correctly. They need to win with their depth lines against Florida. Their third line needs to get a win, and their second line needs to get a win. I think their first line, if they do not go up against Florida's first line, can win 2 games, no doubt. But this game or this series cannot go to 7 if I'm Toledo. Florida's game 7 lineup is by far one of the best in the ECHL, better than Kansas City's, and if Toledo wants a shot, they have to win this in less than 7.
Right, and thank you for Wizza for pointing out that the stream name wasn't correct. But I swear I changed it. I always change it before the show, like 2 hours before. I guess I got to double check next time. Something must have happened, but yeah, the name has been changed back. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how this is going to play out. I see both offenses. I think they're both elite. With Florida and Toledo going at each other here. I think some
This
of the
might come to defense, honestly. Whichever team could shut down one of the offenses.
Yeah,
they
but
have the...
let's be honest, it may be a shootout, right? That may be a factor too. But yeah, I look at some of the players that need to step up on both sides. Beauty Pigs, obviously legends, or is it legendary? Or do they have a guy named? I don't know. But yeah, I think they need to step up and show the world why they're so highly touted. And on Toledo's side, you got FIFA that needs to be able to make some of the saves maybe he shouldn't be making, which people have confidence in him. And I also believe a player like I'm Sean Avery, for instance, needs to show up and produce and maybe stay out of the box for his team. It looks like he's been clean all season long, or all playoffs long, I should say. And then you got Stahl on offense, VO out of nowhere. Don't know how he ended up on that team, but he's there now.
He is a big factor why this team got so far.
Yeah, he's elite. He's a cup champion. So there's some players on each side that need to step up, and we'll move on to predictions here. We'll start with you, Rasky. Who do you got?
Oh, it's tough. It is very tough. You know what? Wiz is having the best season of his career on defense. which was a stretch at before the season even started, I'm gonna have to say Toledo in 6.
Wow. Wow. You heard it here first, folks. Toledo in 6.
If this goes to 7, though, Florida's taking it. I'm sorry, Toledo.
Yeah, and I'm going to predict Florida in 7. And by the way, I was told I was a jinx by the Kelowna guys, and I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at some of the picks I made. I haven't been that great. I haven't been that
kind
great.
Of are a jinx.
Well, we'll see if I'm a jinx. I may go 4 for 4 here, and then I'm done.
Wizzo with the fun facts, though. Fun fact for Toledo, only forward line with a losing record is people playing with Throwing Heat. And another fun fact, Throwing Heat went 2-0 last week, going back to defense.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So,
he shouldn't have played forward in the first place. I don't know where that came from.
The only thing that I don't understand...
I just don't know. Go ahead.
I mean, the only thing I don't understand is last season when I hopped up to forward, I hopped up to left wing, and I played with Officer Spaghetti and Throwing Heat. We went undefeated in the playoffs. He was not trash, and he was a big factor to why we were undefeated.
Right, exactly.
I was the worst person on that line, and we still won. I don't know how Heat is not winning games on forward now for some reason.
Who knows? But we have Burnals chiming in. He said,
"Can you imagine picking Toledo?"
Exactly. That's what I was about to say that, but I don't know. I didn't. He picked Toledo, and I picked Florida.
Toledo in 6.
Yeah, Florida. They got a dominant offense. I just don't see it. But anyways, that wraps up our predictions and playoff preview here. Now we're gonna move on to thumbs up or thumbs down, and we got an interesting one this week. I decided to provide a visual aid this time for thumbs up, thumbs down. Maybe I'll keep doing it in the future if it's received well. But the first take here is, and if you're new here, let me explain the game a little bit more. So basically, what we do is we throw out a take or a hot take, and we give it a thumbs up or thumbs down. And the first take is the Florida Everblades are the best team remaining in the playoffs. Thumbs up or thumbs down? We'll start with you, Rasky.
Remaining in the playoffs, I'll have to say, honestly, thumbs down. I'm going to go thumbs down with this. I think Niagara and Gulf in their series, or I'd have to say the Titans, if the Titans can win all their games, might be the better team. I mean, Florida is a very, very good team. Do not get me wrong. And based off of standings and team statistics, they are the best team on paper. But I'd still have to go either with one of the other teams. I don't see if Florida goes up against, I could see like Guelph shutting Florida down. I could see Niagara outscoring Florida. Wow. I could see the Titans possibly beating Florida with their firepower. I don't think Florida is the best team in the playoffs right now.
Okay, so let me counter that with the thumbs up. I think Florida is the best team remaining. And let me be clear about the best team remaining. When I say best team remaining, it doesn't mean they're going to win. It means they have the best team. So I'm thumbs up. They have the best team. They have to go out there and perform. I just don't see any. They have the best high-end talent. They have a solid offense, a solid defense, and they have great goaltending. They are complete from top to bottom. I don't see anybody having as good as a team. But when the games are played, I could be wrong. And when if they get upset, once again, like I said, if they get upset, then I still think they had the better team, but they maybe didn't deserve to win, or something happened, or you never know. But I think they definitely have the best team left, and the Mem is theirs to lose right now. So thumbs up, they have the best team remaining. Do you have a counterpoint to that, or can we move on?
We can move on.
All right, we're moving on here. So the next take has to do with the CHL transfer window. It's been very controversial. So basically, let me just take you guys through it. A team can send down, it's like there's a certain rule. If they played a certain amount of games, they can send down a player right before a certain date that's right before the playoffs, and then you can call them up to play if they played a certain amount of games. If they played 18 games in the C, it says there. So I'll give you an example, and this happened to me. So my goalie, T. Roberts, got called up maybe week 6. He played 2 weeks, maybe 3, I'm not sure exactly. And then right before the playoffs, he came back to me, and I'm thankful for that, but I don't think that's right. And it has to do with the CHL roster lock too, right? So if the roster's lock a week before and you get your player back, you can't make the changes. So if you get a player back and you could just call him back up, it makes no sense to me. So thumbs up or thumbs down. The special CHL transfer window should be kept for next season and going forward.
Rasky. You could start with this one.
Oh, you want me? Okay. I'm thumbs down. I don't like this rule, and it benefited me. Let me make that clear. But I think the CHL is a developmental league. It should be a developmental league. Prospects should play, and the Bogs, the commissioner, should make it so teams, owners are encouraged to have prospects over amateurs or veterans. Not RVs, but veterans, right? So yeah. I think by this rule, it discourages prospects. If they play throughout the season, then they get called up, then their team misses the playoffs, and they're back down. It discourages you from going after prospects going forward, and it encourages going to get amateurs. So I'm a thumbs up. What was the question? Thumbs down. Yeah, thumbs down. I think this rule should be scrapped. What about you, Rasky?
I think this rule needs to be modified. I'm thumbs down. There's ways around this. Look at Sherbrooke. Presidente drafted, goes to Columbus. He is somehow on the Sherbrooke roster with 0 games played before at the roster lock, does not play a game till playoffs. Yeah. You're really just taking away another player's roster
I'm not sure
spot.
Lost their spot. I play Chell, lost their spot.
Yeah, you lose, like, prospects lose their roster spots because of that, and then you have to go through, like, they manipulated the system to where he played his AHL games until the end of the season, until CHL playoffs started. You can look back into his games. He had played the very last possible game for the regular season for his AHL team, then the next week played the first game of the CHL playoffs with Sherbrooke while on Sherbrooke's roster.
Right. I don't think that's right.
It's not right because
they need to look at that rule.
The CHL is a developmental league, like Swifty said. This shouldn't be for players to dodge, to have more self-confidence with stat padding. No, it shouldn't be like that. You shouldn't have to manipulate the system in order to play in the C. I was drafted. I didn't turn out good, so I ended up back in the C. And that's different. He was drafted. He played good for his team. They sent him down to help Sherbrooke win the MEM. They got knocked out. You can't.
Yeah. I'll offer you a solution here too, everybody. I think a universal roster lock should be required. And I know, I think it should be all 3 leagues, the rosters lock at the same time. I think that would avoid a lot of problems, whether it's a week before. I don't think it should be. The roster lock was literally the end of the season. I don't think we can do that anymore. I think it needs to be a week before a minimum, like it used to be. Your final roster going into the playoffs should be your final roster. If they keep this rule in place and you get a player back before the playoffs, that's fine and dandy. They can ECU for you. That's fine. They can contribute in some way, but I don't think they should be allowed to be called up. So a universal roster lock, I think, is required. So teams don't get screwed, and other teams outside your organization don't screw you by getting, say, a Presidente back at the deadline. So
there should be some sort of rule or regulation that says in order to play on roster for your CHL team's playoffs, you should have played X amount of games before, you're not even eligible to play in playoffs unless you've played at least 2 weeks in the CHL. Instead of it being, if you're on roster at the end of the season, you're allowed to play. because that's how Presidente was able to dodge Sherbrooke's regular season.
Right. So, yeah. So I think we're both thumbs down. They should keep this rule. Let's move on here to the final thumbs up, thumbs down take. It is too early to start scouting for season 33. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Rasky, take it away.
So I'm on the fence with this one because there are some returning owners that can be scouting right now.
Right.
I give Saucerman full credit to scout right now. He is currently in the playoffs still.
He's not just in the playoffs. He's in the driver's seat for the Mem Cup, and he's doing scouting. And I saw a post saying, scouting this week. We're going to scout this weekend. He's in the driver's seat for the Mem, and he's scouting. What?
Yeah, like that makes no sense, but he is doing it, and he does it. That is somebody who could be scouting. He's already going to be, if he has his mindset on renewing ownership, he's probably already studied the test, already passed it. He's all ready for next season, taking over Florida for the second season in a row.
Well, and
people like Snipe Show and Mike Scott, test just came out. It's a brand new test. Snipe Show has management experience, but from this past season, Windsor took a huge downfall, and that was under his watch. That's gonna go up against him for becoming an owner. And then Mike Scott,
he's not even an
I don't
owner.
think he has any management experience at all.
I don't know. I didn't actually click on the link, as you can tell. I just
yeah.
So I don't know what it said. Maybe he wants to scout. I guess we can double check that right now. Maybe I'm just throwing his name in the hat. But for me, thumbs up. It's too early to scout. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, go play the games. Go have fun. Enjoy the off season. Worry about that when the time comes. Like,
play your World Juniors.
If you want to scout, okay, fine. But you don't have to post threads. Go look at the World Juniors. Exactly. It's a developmental league. You can watch what they do over there, and you can watch the streams. You can see the prospects, all the players, and you can make a list.
Just watch the playoffs. Like the playoff, all these players are going to be back in the CHL again. A huge majority. There's going to be people like Bodie and like players like that are going to be called up for sure. So don't put them on your short list for bidding.
Don't mean to cut you off, but Mike Scott is scouting just in case he gets ownership. So he may fail the test completely, and Tackle has implemented you must get 80% to be considered for management. This guy may have failed the test already, and he's still scouting. Who knows? Like, wait till you get your ownership and then start to scout. I just don't understand these people, honestly.
It's too early for sure.
I think it's too early. Thumbs up. What did you say? Just to clarify one more time.
We're gonna go thumbs up. The only exception is Saucerman. Saucerman is allowed to scout right now. He is in the Mem Cup run.
There's no exception. No exception. Your thumbs up. No exception.
I can't. Then I might have to thumbs down you. I don't know how. See,
it's too early.
Saucerman is the only person I give allowance to, because he is being able to manage to run a team into the Mem Cup and win it. Okay, possibly.
I guess next season. I guess next episode. Let me be clear. Next episode, we can talk about once you win the Mem, should you be back managing in the C? That's another. That could be another episode. But thumbs up. I think it's too early.
We'll go thumbs up. Early.
That, folks, concludes episode 6 of the No Thumbs podcast, beginning of the end. Thank you for joining me, Rasky. Do you have anything to plug here for the viewers?
Check out the Blueliners podcast. We are doing commentary games for World Juniors, for the World Juniors tournament. We are putting out media posts. We're doing all sorts of stuff. And we're Saucer was just put in the chat.
I saw that.
Guys just said
no, I did not say that. I did not say that. I said
I did. So he's got me there. But go check out the Blueliners. Me and CK are running the show there. CK's done a great job covering games when I am busy and not able to attend. Also, I'm playing in games, so it's not very easy for me to always hop in.
Right.
But Blueliners World Juniors, check it out.
I'll post the link
Schwifty,
to
if
their
you got
channel
anything.
below. When I upload the video, obviously. Me, what do I have to plug? Nothing. I have a nice ice cold beer in my hand right now. To have a sigh of relief that I'm done managing. No pressure anymore. Just nice to be a player again. If you haven't tuned in earlier, just go check it out. I made a post about my retirement and what I've learned and, my experiences. I don't know. Go check it out if you haven't already. Got a lot of positive feedback. And, next couple of episodes we'll do one episode covering the finals. And so that's next week. So we'll do a pre. And then the next episode after that, we'll do a recap of the season. And you know what? Maybe I'll hand out awards. I was thinking about handing out awards. So I'll have a Norris trophy, a heart. I have different kind of trophies. Vesna. I'll hand out awards. But you're not going to get the trophy. Let me make that clear. I'm not sending you the trophy on LG. So don't expect trophies. I'm just handing them out. So you get clout, I guess. But, yeah. And I'm planning on covering some games this week. I don't have games, so if I have the free time, which I might, I'll cover some games, and we'll get some action going. And if any owners are listening right now and they want to just send the links to me, I'll cover them, and maybe I can get somebody to help me out there too. So that's something to look at. But thanks everybody once again for watching, and thank you, Rasky, for joining me. And
of course, thank you for having me.
And best of luck to everybody, all the owners. I know we got some in the chat right now. Best of luck going forward, and I'll see y'all next time.